Once upon a time, in the serene village of Varanasi, the Buddha was known far and wide for his wisdom and compassion. He had a profound ability to teach life's most valuable lessons through simple stories and parables, which often involved ordinary people with everyday problems. In this village lived a baker named Govinda. He was known for his excellent bread, but he was also known for his grumpiness. Govinda was perpetually annoyed. The slightest mishap in his bakery would set him off. Flour spilled on the floor, dough that didn't rise properly, or even a customer's innocent question about the bread's ingredients could send him into a tirade. Despite his delicious bread, people hesitated to visit his bakery due to his ill temper. One day, after another particularly bad morning where nothing seemed to go right, Govinda decided he'd had enough. He couldn't understand why life was always so difficult and why he was always so angry. Determined to find some peace, he decided to visit the Buddha, who was known to reside at the monastery just outside the village. Govinda approached the monastery, and with a mix of frustration and hope, he walked up to the Buddha, who was seated serenely under a Bodhi tree surrounded by his disciples. The atmosphere was calm and inviting, a stark contrast to Govinda's turbulent mind. Govinda, agitated, "Great Buddha, I have heard of your wisdom and compassion. I need your help. My life is full of anger and frustration. Nothing ever seems to go right for me, and I am always upset. Please, can you teach me how to find peace and happiness?" The Buddha looked at Govinda with compassionate eyes and nodded gently. Buddha, calmly, "My friend, it seems you are carrying a heavy burden. Tell me, what is it that you do?" Govinda, exasperated, "I am a baker. I bake bread every day, and it is an endless struggle. The flour spills, the dough doesn't rise, customers complain, and it drives me mad." Confused but willing to follow the Buddha's advice, Govinda returned to his bakery. The next morning, after putting his best effort into making a perfect loaf of bread, he went back to the Buddha with the freshly baked loaf. Govinda, handing over the bread, "Here, great Buddha, this is the finest bread I could make." The Buddha took the bread, examined it, and then smiled. Buddha, "Tell me, Govinda, what is the essence of this bread?" Govinda, puzzled. "The essence? Well, it's made of flour, water, yeast, and salt. I mix them together, knead the dough, let it rise, and then bake it." Buddha, nodding, "Yes, exactly. Now imagine if you were to make bread with only flour or only water. Would it still be bread?" Govinda, laughing, "Of course not, it would be a mess." Buddha, precisely. Each ingredient, each step in the process is essential. The flour, the water, the yeast, and the salt product. If you neglect any part, you will not have bread. Life is much like your bread, Govinda. It is made up of various experiences and emotions, joy and sorrow, success and failure, ease and struggle. To find peace, you must embrace all parts of life, just as you do with the ingredients of your bread. Govinda listened intently, realizing the deeper meaning in the Buddha's words. Buddha, continuing, "Just as you carefully measure and mix the ingredients for your bread, you must learn to balance your thoughts and emotions. If you focus only on the struggles, you will miss the joy. If you avoid the difficult parts, you will never appreciate the sweetness of life. Embrace everything and you will find peace." Govinda, thoughtfully, "I understand, great Buddha. I have been focusing only on the difficulties and letting them overshadow everything else. I will try to embrace all parts of my life, just as I do with my bread." Buddha, smiling, "Good. And remember, Govinda, just as you knead the dough with patience and care, so too must you handle your mind. Be gentle with yourself. With time and practice, you will find the peace you seek." Govinda thanked the Buddha profusely and returned to his bakery with a renewed perspective. He began to approach his work and his life with more patience and understanding. He still faced challenges, but instead of getting angry, he reminded himself of the Buddha's lesson. He embraced each experience, good and bad, as part of the whole. Slowly, the villagers began to notice a change in Govinda. He smiled more, laughed more, and even when things didn't go perfectly in his bakery, he remained calm and composed. Customers started visiting more frequently, not just for the delicious bread, but also for the joy of seeing the transformed, cheerful baker. Villager 1, have you noticed how happy Govinda seems these days? Villager 2, Yes, it's like he's a completely different person. Villager 3, and the bread tastes even better now. There's something special about it. Govinda's bakery became a place of warmth and happiness. He often shared the Buddha's wisdom with his customers, reminding them that life, like bread, is made of many ingredients and each one is essential. Through embracing all parts of life and finding balance, Govinda found the peace and happiness he had longed for. And so the story of Govinda the grumpy baker turned happy baker spread through the village and beyond. It became a cherished tale of how embracing all aspects of life can lead to true peace and joy, thanks to the timeless wisdom of the Buddha.